It's been an exciting couple of rounds, don't you think?
It has. Yeah, it has. Unfortunately, the injury woes continue at Essendon. Reid does his usual, starting to look like a superstar and now out for a long period of time. Langford's just coming back from an injury and gets injured. And then Durham does his ankle and you think, oh, well, that looks serious. And then he
Yeah.
plays out the rest in the goal square. So I don't know what's going on there, but definitely three blokes we can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
Um,
But I thought you played a lot better uh, on Friday. Really, you really took it up to them. You had a lot of positives. Just having a look at, for example, obviously Caddy. He, as you said, he does look like a bit of a foal, but to me, I think he had a bit of shades of a bit of Nick Rewalt. Just his balance, his ability to crash packs. Super goal. Missed one or two though.
I'd like to say the basics, but the raw talent is off the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean everyone's praising us for a three-goal loss to Brisbane, and I guess it was a pretty good effort. It'd be nice if we'd have turned up in the first quarter, but Caldwell back in form. I think he had something like 16 possessions in the
Yeah.
third quarter,
Yeah.
and went crazy and basically got us back into it.
Yep.
Caddy's starting to come on a little bit, but unfortunately, our dream of you finishing extremely low and getting us a high pick
Not quite.
seems to be fading by the week,
Yeah,
Paddy.
well. Look, I've brought my Indigenous, thoughts to the game that we're playing right now against St Kilda. You can see behind you. I've even, bought a Indigenous painting to to this particular
Is it still
podcast.
the Doug Nichols round?
Oh, I don't know. Don't know if it's Doug Nichols
Or
round,
it's more of
but
a Northern Territory thing?
absolutely. And hopefully Pickett, of course, hopefully he can really sort of bring that flavour as well to the match. But look, just going back to the Bombers as well, Archie Roberts, he looks a real player to me. He really provides that pivotal role, working up and down the ground. He provides an outlet. On the flanks. The amount of times that I saw that your midfields are actually kicking to him, and the fact that link up allows your other team, your other players in the forward line to, I guess, spread, and he's a very good kick as well. So I was very impressed with this game.
Still searching for the midfield. Zach seems to be getting tagged quite a lot,
Yeah.
and I don't think teams know what to do. Like if you look at the Brownlow favourites before the start of the year,
Yeah.
I think Merritt probably starred for about 5 weeks, and he's been a bit off
Yeah.
the last month, really.
Yeah.
And Dacos and Lockie Neal and all those guys. So against the Swans, we played Merritt forward. Against Brisbane, we tended to play him back. And after we lost Caldwell, we were like, well,
Yeah.
we need to find someone.
Yeah.
They seem reluctant to play Nick Martin in the middle, but he's so creative.
He is.
And he
He's
can
a good
kick a
player.
goal.
Absolutely. How
So
many did he kick? 2 or 3 again?
I think it was 2.
Two?
So his
Yeah.
apprenticeship or whatever it was the last couple of years at half back, I think that was them saying, look, mate, you can't play in the midfield if you're just going to open the door for the other midfield to run through.
Yeah.
But every time I see him play in the midfield, he's so creative.
Yeah.
So I would like to see more of that. And I don't know whether Roberts has got the body or the tank for it
Yeah.
yet, but we do need some options.
Yep, absolutely. So I've got to say, 2 weeks is a long time in football, and I remember we were doing our last podcast, and Melbourne. Well, it's fair to say that we actually sort of beat up on a few teams,
I
but
gave him no chance against Brisbane in Brisbane.
Absolutely. But what I've really liked over the last couple of weeks is definitely the pressure that's really come from Melbourne lately. I said it before, like pressure is what you need to provide, and once you provide, that swarming ability, not just to tackle, but to ensure that you're making sure that the ball doesn't get out of there, right? Or if the ball is kicked incorrectly, or there's an incorrect disposal like handball, then it really changes the way a team can play. And that's exactly what Melbourne's doing at the moment, in my opinion. They seem a lot more hungrier for the ball. And yes, you've got the usual suspects in Gawn and Petrarca playing well. I've also been very impressed with Oliver's game. And by the way, I've just bought another little bobblehead for Oliver. So shout out to that man there.
So now you want to keep him?
Absolutely. Well, he had a great game against Brisbane, and he also had a great game last week against the Swans. He picked up 31 possessions, and he's actually hitting the goals as well. So
helps with Lever coming back too.
You think?
Oh yeah. Oh, your defence looks a lot better. You disagree?
Oh, look, I think Tom McDonald. To be honest, I think Tom McDonald was a bit harsh actually. Like making way for Lever when he came back. I think Tom McDonald brings like his marking ability. He's been very good. He's got a lot of confidence. I was surprised at that. But that said, I looked at Turner, and Turner has come in the back line, and he's really, really improving and impressing.
Yeah, well, Lever can probably play that zone off intercept role a bit better than Tom McDonald, but
it's a good point. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you got to turn Turner into something, and interesting to see the way he'd been using Fritsch as well as a sub last week.
Sub in Brisbane.
Yep.
I don't think it was a sub last week against the Swans, but he looks like he's actually, he's bringing it more to the table, to be honest. I think he's got a bit more confidence back. Kicked 2 goals last week, which is great against the Swans. But also, as I said before, Melksham. I mean, it's so important to have a forward player like Melksham who can kick the ball straight, who can deliver the ball really, quickly to the players. And when I say quickly, when he kicks a ball with his wrong foot, he's kicking 50 metres and it gets to him in seconds. Not seconds, 5 or 6 seconds. It is fast. And with that ability, like the back lines can't set up for that. So again, I think we're playing a bit more of that chaos ball. I think our forwards are starting to really gel, but they're starting to move in different directions. Move to the, some are moving to the flanks, others are going forward, and really, I guess, creating that uncertainty. I'm really liking that.
Yeah, unfortunately, as far as what I wanted to happen this season, you guys are you're definitely in that middle tier.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd be down the bottom.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I think we've got picks 8 and 9 in the draft, which is not really the haul I was looking for.
No. Well, you're right. And just to let you know, I'm on Petty watch, right? I can feel that Petty is going to really hit that next level for me. Like
as a forward or back?
I'd say more as in between a forward and not a back. I'm talking a forward and possible midfield.
You're playing Turner down there.
Well, I see him being really effective as a bit of a he's not a Gawn at the moment, right? But just being able to provide that that mark down the line when you need it. I can see that occurring more. One thing also about Petty is he does keep his feet. He keeps it. He's always not falling down, and I'm seeing that more. And he's had a lot of injuries, so for me, I'm on Petty watch.
Fair enough. I can't wait to see how you guys go against the Saints. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
You could drop right back down the bottom of the ladder, and we could be back in town with our draft pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So it's almost halfway to the season, and look, let's be honest. I mean, love them or hate them, but we've got to talk about the Magpies. And boy, oh boy, I mean, they are the team to beat in my eyes. They, their ability, more so than anything, for playing for each other. I mean, what do you think?
Well, great pickups in the off season to get Membry. Perryman and Houston.
Yeah.
And everyone's bagging Houston, but
No.
some of his kicking, mate, you'd love to have it in your team.
Oh, absolutely.
So those sorts of pickups, I mean, you got McStay out injured, and you go, oh well, Myercheck and Membry can hold
Yeah.
down the key forwards, and
Yeah.
Jamie Elliott's winning the Coleman
Yeah.
at this point, and Bobby Hill. Geez, I wish we had got him when we had a chance a few years back. But they're probably the two best small forwards in the game right now.
Absolutely. 5 goals from Elliott. I mean, he is absolutely elite at the moment. He's had such a hard run with injuries, right? He was always on the bench with injuries, and it's great to see that really he's managed to. He looks fully fit. He's got an incredible aerial leap as well, and he's also playing as a team. He's actually setting up a lot of players.
All the talk coming into the year was, well, how old are Collingwood and can they keep it up and the whole year? And I don't know if Sidebottom and Pendlebury are taking a little break. I heard Pendlebury say he might head off to watch a game of basketball in America. I just think whatever you need to do to keep that guy playing exactly the same way. And Sidebottom, like,
Oh my God,
yeah. So,
he's having an incredible year.
well, he won the Anzac 8 years apart.
Yeah.
He's I still reckon I'd have him in my All Australian side. Almost as a midfielder, but definitely on a wing. They'll slot him in. So when you've got those two and two Dacos boys running around in the middle with that ruckman,
Cameron.
Cameron.
Darcy Cameron. Yeah.
They're
You don't need Cox at the moment. Let's be honest here, right?
no. I mean,
I think Darcy Cameron is really.
well, I think that's where Membry and McStay and those guys. I think they were saying, look, it's the less we can play, Coxie, probably the better.
Yeah.
Probably the only team that matches them in terms of talent would be Brisbane.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at those two small forwards.
On talent, yes, but in my opinion, as a team, no. Like I saw them play against Melbourne, and I just didn't feel that they were.
These two games at home against our teams where they've just taken the foot, they've thought they were going to get easy wins.
Yeah.
Did they draw with North as well?
They drew in North, absolutely.
Okay, so they're
Yeah.
top two on the ladder, but
Absolutely.
in coast mode.
Yeah.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
I've got to see more to really see them really being a
See
serious
more.
premiership. Absolutely. I've got to see more from them. And just a quick shout out to Myercheck as well. I mean, that guy, he has had another cracking season. Yes, he kicked 2 goals. I think he kicked 2 goals, against,
Hawks.
Hawks, sorry. 2 goals against the Hawks. But just the way he actually sort of sets play up as well. There was one piece of play which I was so impressed with. He was on the wing, right? And he, instead of kicking the ball forward, he could have easily kicked the ball forward. He actually handballed, would have been about a 25, 30 metre handball.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Right into the centre when one of his teammates was flying down the centre. Like, did not break stride. And what that did is it just opened up the game. Like, once you're in the centre, you can go left, you can go right, you can go forward. It was, and I just thought to myself, wow, this player is, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole setup.
Great mark.
You've got to have those guys running past as well.
Yeah,
and,
true.
You've got a fair bit of talent there.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Josh, Nick, my God, Sign Bottom, Hill, I don't know, the list goes on.
yeah, I mean, their defence is pretty nice too. To have guys like Josh and Perryman and Houston picking it off the back line.
You're not even talking about Darcy Moore either, right?
Yeah.
So you're going well when
And
you're
your
not
man
talking about
Jeremy
that,
Howe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's sort of the Myercheck of their back line.
Yeah.
Not quite an A-grader, but
Yeah.
bloody handy.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously they're the contender. They're the leader, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Hawthorn. Like, where to for Hawthorn at the moment?
So the problem with Hawthorn at the moment is you got to fix the forward line. As long as, I mean, Gunston kind of did a side bottom for a while. He's been bathing in the eternal youth water, but you can't. Him and Chol, I don't think anyone's going into a serious game going, well, they're they're a problem.
Yeah.
Watson and Moore's really dropped off. Sicily's really dropped off.
Yeah.
You know, it happens a lot when you have a breakout year like they did last year and everyone does the homework.
True.
But I think also last year they were doing those beautiful kicks, but it was coming off the back of pressure.
Yeah.
And it seems like this year they just want to turn up and do the beautiful kicks without actually getting the turnovers first.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, I mean, everyone's going to look bad against Collingwood when they play like that.
Yeah.
But they did sort of look like they just get me the ball and I'll show you some magic.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
actually you're missing a crucial step to that whole thing. So
Yeah.
2 weeks ago we talked about the three teams who could pop up ahead of expectations.
Yep.
I think I'm almost at the point where I can put a line through them. I don't think they're ready to win the flag. I'm too worried about Sicily's. You can expose Sicily at centre half back.
He's had two, very average weeks, right? And
but I mean, you've got those guys like Hardwick and I love every time they throw Hardwick forward. I think, well, why haven't you done that the whole time? Same with Weddle actually didn't look that good forward a couple of weeks ago, but it's nice to have those utilities that you can throw around. But I'd rather have like a centre half forward who's going to kick me 50 goals for the year.
Yeah. Absolutely. And look, let's be honest, right? When I actually was at the MCG, I saw a lot of, spectators, Hawthorn fans wearing wizard hats. But unfortunately, at the MCG, the only trick I saw was a disappearing act.
Did you? I know.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much.
At the ground, did you see them holding up his number to come off? Because this was actually, I know this is a bit of a bugbear of yours, where you kick a goal and then you're straight off.
Absolutely.
So Watson's kicked a goal.
Yeah.
And I've got the number 34 up for we're getting you off because you've had 4 touches and we need to kick like 6 goals. Personally, he would have been the last one I took off. But then they took Scrimshaw off, and I actually thought he'd just set up a goal just before anyway. So, I mean, I guess I'm not going to second guess, Mitchell. But they're holding it up.
Yeah.
He gets tripped, he kicks the goal, and he's looking everywhere except over there. And he wasn't running off for hell or high water. No. And I felt like he was coaching the team. I'll decide when I'm coming off, and I'll decide that kicking that goal is basically won me another, the rest of the game, really. So I don't think Scrimshaw will be happy.
In fairness, Ginnivan, he certainly came to the game. He had 31 possessions, kicked 3 goals. So he had probably his best game.
Probably wasn't heading out to the races the night before.
No, he wasn't.
Well,
no, he wasn't. And I also think there's no Frost ball. They're missing Frost. Love Frosty. Everyone loves Frosty, right?
No, not when he's got the ball at centre half.
They love it. It's unpredictable.
It's highly unpredictable. It's too unpredictable. But who are you taking out? Weddle? Oh, maybe it's like.
Don't.
The problem is he's the captain.
He's the captain. Look, I think, for me, they've got to get back to basics too, right? I mean, you got McGuinness, McDonald, Morrison. You got a lot of these, Hawthorn players have had a great years last year, right? And the pressure, again, was swarming. They really stopped a lot of the run-ons. But what I noticed when I was there was just too many uncontested marks from the Magpies. You've got to play more one-on-one. You can't be guarding space because, a team like, Collingwood will cut you apart. And they did. They got their just
They're
desserts.
kicking them from everywhere. And Collingwood always do that when they're up and about on a good side.
Yeah.
Whereas Morrison had 2 shots that Hawthorn really needed him to kick from right on 50, and it just didn't look like a chance on either of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably just don't have that level of talent at this point.
Fair enough. And Dave, what about Fremantle?
Well, look, they went up and knocked Gold Coast off, so, I mean, you don't want to be week by week, but are they in that group now with Gold Coast, Adelaide, Hawthorn, Freo, as good as those teams?
Yep.
I mean, a little bit below those top 4 ones that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Jackson in the midfield's an interesting move.
He's had a really good run of form, and he's a very impressive player. right? So he can play ruck. He can also take a marker in the forward line. Very versatile. But he played with Darcy, and to be honest, they seemed to play quite well yesterday. That was a bit of a question mark when Darcy came back, whether, is there room for Darcy? But
Especially when you're paying both of them, I don't know, what about $1 million each?
it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
And I don't think either of them are key forwards. But if he can fit into that midfield with Brayshaw and Sarong,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you'd want a little bit more from a Miss and Tracy. Tracy,
Yeah.
I think, is better than a Miss, but I don't think it's Voss.
No, I agree. But Saron's having a great year. And of course, Bolton as well. Bolton had a cracking game yesterday as well.
Another huge pickup.
Yeah, massive pickup. So, yeah, I mean, that's a watch for me. Fremantle's a watch still. And, Giants. I mean, we sung their praises last week. Toby Green's 250th. He was a match winner. Everyone was just very impressed with the Giants, what they did. And then, they just got over the line against the Tigers. And it took, to be honest, to Callum Ward, absolute, coaching masterclass, dare I say, really sad for Callum Ward. But really, I believe that Callum Ward was the one that got him over the line after he injured himself. He went to his team and I don't know what he said, but it worked.
Might have booked himself in an assistant coaching position for life after football. They're going to have some tough decisions to make in the next few years.
Yeah.
And we should run anyone, but 32 and you've
Yeah.
done a knee.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if their mix of young champions and old legends can get them through like they always do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, for me, it's up and down. As I said, they're up and down like petrol prices at the moment. So let's see what they do next week. So I guess, we've sort of given a bit of a synopsis, mid-season. We spoke about, obviously, the Pies, the Lions, the Dogs for me. I think they're higher than the Lions. Geelong. So they're, for me, the top four. I don't think we can argue with that.
No, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So, as I always say, Dave, I've always asked for a couple of improvements in the game, all right? We spoke about, obviously, the dragging of players on fire, right? Like they did with Caddy as well, by the way, I noticed. Not great. But another one as well is the shallow throw-ins. Like, I don't know why umpires just don't come in a few metres and throw it in, right? The amount of times that they throw shallow throw-ins, the ruck, hit it, back to the boundary, doesn't open up play. I mean, such a small thing to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I guess with these bugbears, they get me probably more than you, but, that's fine. Well, Dave, I think it's going to be exciting next week. Of course, the King's birthday, the big freeze. So, we're going to see if Melbourne can pull off, to be honest, a heist, against the Magpies. A lot needs to happen.
They're kind of the measuring stick.
A
lot of teams go in, a lot of teams go in thinking, we're pretty good, and then Collingwood straighten them out. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And really excited for the next week of footy. It's been great talking to you, my friend, and look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Awesome. See you next time for Dee And A Don.
Thanks a lot. Bye.